Hello, hello, crafty friends. This is Grace here at the Comfy Nest with Grace. I'm going to be working on some Americana decor. So red, white, and blue. I got my paint ready. I've got a whiteboard ready, and I'm using the Stencil of the Month Club designs. So let me show them to you. So the Stencil of the Month Club, you can, if you decide to try it, if you are in it, it would be awesome, those of you who are in it, if you would just say hey and let us know you're a Stencil of the Month Club member. Tell us what you love about it. Tell us what you love about the community. That will help anybody who's not in it kind of decide if it's something for them. That would be really helpful. So as I'm getting this feed up and running on my iPad, just right here so I can read comments once I get started. Why don't you guys say hello? Let me know where you're coming in from. Let me know if you're already a member of the Stencil of the Month Club. We'd love to welcome you, club members, and returning followers, as well as new folks. All right, let's see. I think I found me. Yep, that's me right there. All right, now let's see if I can get the, cross my fingers that I can get the comments to come up. Because Facebook, my word, lately. Oh, I think I got it. Yay, Belinda. Hello, Belinda from Illinois. And Cindy's here. She says, hooray, right time. Yay, you found us. Hey, Jennifer. Hey, girl. And Chantel is here from Kentucky, and Annetta from Missouri. Dawn is here from Wisconsin. Hello, hello, ladies and gentlemen, if there are any gentlemen out listening. Hey, Abby. She says, I'm a Stencil of the Month Club member. I love it and all the different add-ons. Yes, I'll show you the add-on in a minute here. There's Deb saying, I'm a Stencil of the Month Club member. Welcome, you guys. Hey, Karen in Illinois. And Julie's here from Missouri. So stay tuned, you guys. I will be gifting away 3 sets of stencils. Well, I pick the name. I get the fun part. I get to pick and announce the winners. And then Essential Stencil will send 3 lucky people, mostly it's usually the ladies, 3 lucky ladies will get a set of stencils from the company. So thank you to Essential Stencil for your constant generosity to our awesome followers and community. If you don't know who I am, my name is Grace Kurtz from the Comfy Nest with Grace here on Facebook. I like to inspire women by teaching them new craft techniques and to keep them motivated with their crafting and their creativity. And I have a couple of great communities over on my business page too that you guys are all welcome to join if you'd like to. Oh, look at all these Stencil of the Month Club members. Hey, Denise. Hello, hello, my friend Denise. Becky says she's a member. Tracy's a member. Awesome. Luada is a member. I recognize some of these names. Tracy Sipling is here, and Tammy. Hey, Tammy. Chiquetta, what a pretty name. Chiquetta from Maryland. Hello, Miss Chiquetta. I like that name. Okay, I'm going to get my light on. I'm going to show you these stencils. I just think you guys can see better if I flick that little light on. Okay, so Stencil of the Month Club, if you join, if you're not yet a member and you join anytime between now and the 20th, so you still have time to decide to get this set. So if you joined between now and the 20th, this is the set you'd be getting in the mail. And then on the 21st, the design switches over to the next month's design. Now, for Stencil of the Month Club members, though, once you're enrolled, there is a separate exclusive store with the stencils that are still available from previous months. If they're still in stock, they're available in a separate store. So sometimes you can get some of the other ones from previous months, but this is the one for this month. America the Beautiful, land that I love. I absolutely love the little banner of stars. It comes with, I'm gonna open it because you can't see everything real good here. Hey, Karen. Denise says, I hung my porch sign you made. Oh, Denise, I'm so glad I saw your picture today that you have it hung up right at your front door. I love it. It looks great. The banners look awesome. I'm so glad. Okay, this is this month. So America the Beautiful with the, look at like a little firework, rocket firework. I don't know. I think there are some fireworks that are shaped that way. I think it's a firework because 4th of July, right? The fireworks. But you can make it a rocket, red, white, and blue rocket. Okay, here we go. I gotta do it this way. I gotta flip it over so you can read it. Sweet Land of Liberty, you get 4 different size stars here to work with from very, very little to very big. And then Liberty and Justice for All. And then there's one more. Yes, one more in this set. So these are all 12 by 16. So they're a pretty good size. And there are a lot of designs on it. I got to get it all the right way. See? Look at this. More fireworks. Firecrackers. For all you firework lovers. There's the, like Uncle Sam's hat. There's a really cool version of the flag. And 4th of July. So this is the main set for this month. And then there's an add-on. So Stencil of the Month Club members can choose to add on, I think it's $10. But you guys, when you go over to my landing page for Essential Stencil, that will apply my coupon both for anything that you order from Essential Stencil, but also for the Stencil of the Month Club. And you'll see there what your options are. You can sign up for 1 month at a time. You can sign up in advance for 3 months or 6 months. If you go with the 6 months, you guys, I've used my bag today. It's full of stuff. But if you go for the 6 months, you get this fantastic canvas bag with this pocket here. It's got these awesome handles that are gray on one side and striped on the other. And it has this little brass magnetic clip. I love this bag. That's what you get if you sign up for 6 months in advance. When you sign up, you have the option to add on another 12 by 16 stencil that coordinates with the main set. And for this month, it's the United States, and then a really big star. Like, this is a really big star, you guys, compared to the other ones that are in there. Let's see. This one is 8 inches, just a tad bigger than 8 inches across. So this is the add-on for the month, and it goes really well. And I love how they always show us. These are the ways that you can use these stencils. These graphics that they give us with the stencil sets are so helpful because it gives us all kinds of ideas. And then one of the major benefits of being in the Stencil of the Month Club, as far as I'm concerned, because I love the community, is the community. There's a separate exclusive group just for Stencil of the Month Club members where they can share their projects and ask questions and all kinds of goodies in there and just be cool. We're all just really cool in there. If you want to join us for the fun. Okay, checking for comments because I'm sure I'm missing so many. Yes, so these are the stencils for the month, this month. If you join now, you would get the set of 3. The set of 3 that I showed you. Let's see, where is that? The big set. And then you can choose, if you want to, pay an additional fee to get that extra one, the add-on stencil, which is the US and the star. So yes, that is for this month. And then you can always shop from, they have a little store, Stencil of the Month Club store, with the designs from previous months, so that if they have them in stock, you're welcome to purchase those as well. Yeah, they are awesome stencils. Such high quality, really easy to work with. Let's get painting. I'm going to put this down. I'm going to put this down so you can see what I'm doing. So I've got plain 12 by 12 little palette board. It's from SPC, so I think I probably got this from Crafts Direct in Minnesota. So it's nice because it has the hangers. You can either use it vertically or horizontally. I'm going to use it horizontally. So it has a hanger on 3 sides. Can you guys see this? It has it here, here, and here so that you can hang it either way. Of course, I'm going to go this way. We have 3. We're going red, white, and blue. This is going to be very, I think it's going to be really cute. I'm going to stencil here, and then I think I'm going to put a really messy bow, fabric bow up here, but let's just see. I'm kind of making it up as I go. I have a general idea in my head. If you guys know me and if you follow me, I have a general idea in my head, but we'll see. I don't know. Woo! Oh, the bottle of paint went flying, you guys. Sorry about that. Did you hear that big clunk? That was my paint bottle flying across the room. I was trying to shake it and it flew across the room. Okay, I'm using, it's an old bottle. It's almost gone. Dixie Belle's Barn Red for my red. I have a bunch of reds, but I really liked the deep color of this one, and there's not a lot left here, but we're gonna work with it anyway. We're gonna work with it anyway. Let me get my little sprinkle the love note just to remind everybody. Thank you, Brenda. Speaking of that, if I wasn't already a member, you would have talked me into the Stencil Month Club. Well, Brenda, I'm so glad you're in there. I'm so glad you're loving it. I'm gonna get my little bottle of water here because this paint looks rather thick because it's old. Let's see what we got. Ooh, it is thick. that can be good because I like texture on my projects. Let me just make sure I got my, that it's facing the right way. I'm going red, white, and blue, and I do not, actually, I don't want a full, I don't think I want full coverage. I'm gonna take a little bit of that paint off of there, and I'm gonna kind of dry brush this red on so that I can see. It's got a great white, like rustic palette board looking texture to it, this wood palette. So I wanna keep that. So I'm just gonna dry brush. See, dry brush, it's like not a full coat. I'm not going for a full coat here. I'm gonna let that white peek through a little bit. I really like this color of red. So it can be darker in some places and lighter in others. I just don't want it to be full coverage. So I start off really light. I can always add more paint, but if you want a dry brush, if you want it to be not a complete coat, it's better to start with less paint, and then you can always add more, as opposed to like completely filling it, and then you'd probably have to go back with more white paint. Okay, I'm kind of liking it. I'm gonna add a little bit of water to my brush. I'm actually gonna clean the brush off a little bit here and wet the brush. In my paint bucket here, this is my paintbrush bucket where I clean my brushes. You can see I get those from like the Dollar Tree or the secondhand store. Now I'm gonna come in, I'm gonna see if I can take a little bit of that off if I can. And straighten out the lines a little bit. So that's just, I'm adding a little more paint there. Lightening it up in a few places, see, so that the white shows through. Now, the other option I could do, and I probably will, is once it's dry, come in with a sanding block and just sand a little bit of that white paint or the red paint off. I want more of that white showing, so I'm gonna keep, this one's gonna stay this, just the way it is, red, white, and I'm going in with blue, and the blue that I have is called Admiral Blue. Like, to me, that's perfect for red, white, and blue. Thicker the better. Most craft paint is in the tubes. It never bleeds with me. Patricia's saying she likes the paints that come in the tubes. Try a baby white, Karen says. I'm going to let it dry, Karen. And then I'm going to come in with, I have my baby wipes right here. I don't use them on my projects. Most often I use them for my hands. I mean, but you sure can. You can go in and, but I don't want to take it off, and I don't want it to get muddied. So see, if I try to rub it, I'd say that's not the look I'm going for here. I'm going to put it back down, and then once it's dry, I'm going to come in and sand off a little bit. There we go. We're all good. Okay. I don't get too worked up. I got a little red paint on my white. I don't get too worked up about that. That doesn't bother me so much. Okay, I do not want full coverage. Where is my little craft mat is elsewhere. So I better grab just a little piece of tin foil. I use tin foil, you guys. I just find it easy to use for my paint palette. So I'm gonna do up here, I'm gonna use that, the stars stencil, the banner. I'm gonna use this part, this banner, and I think I'm gonna do blue and white stars over the red. And then down here, I'm gonna put one of the words, but let's get some blue down here on the bottom. Ooh, that was dark. Ooh, that was dark. It's all good. This is actually not as, this blue isn't even as deep as I thought it was gonna be. That's okay. Sometimes I turn my brush to keep it wide, and sometimes I make it skinny. I change the position of it so that the lines that I get, some are skinny and some are gonna be wide. You guys, I can you hear stomping around in the background? You guys, tell me if you hear some stomping. Yeah, Belinda says, I use foil too. It's easy to throw away. It's so easy. I let it dry and then I fold it and I can use the other side the next day. I keep using it as much as I possibly can before I throw it out. I use less of it than, like, I think paper plates or those like styrofoam plates or whatever. You're going to use one every time you do a project, where a piece of tin foil, I basically can get 4 uses out of it, because I let it dry and then I'll use the other half and then I'll fold it and then I get 2 sides on the other side. All right. This is kind of bare right here. I don't know what happened right there. I gotta fill that in a little bit. right here. See, I want it to show through, a little bit of the white to show through, but I need to have enough blue so that when I do the stenciling, that the stenciling shows up, right? So like I said, I go in light to start, and then I can always add more. So I'm not, I go for purposefully, I go a little lighter to start. And then I'll come in and where there'll, you know, if I feel like, okay, there's too much white over here, I can easily come in and add some more blue. I want this to be, see how the sides, this one's a little more solid. I need to fill in some of these white spots. Make this one a little more solid too. That's what I'm trying to achieve here. The more of the blue paint that I use, the darker the blue gets. See, look at, when I do, see that? I just added another layer of it. So look how much darker that streak is up here than it is like in here per se. Watch when I go in, it just makes it that gorgeous blue, like that admiral blue that you think of when you think of like, it makes me think of navy, like the navy blue, like admiral blue. All right, here we go. I'm just playing with my paint, people. All right. I was considering working with fabric on these, decoupaging some fabric, but I decided I would use the fabric instead to make a messy bow. I love making messy bows with fabric as opposed to ribbon. I might throw some ribbon in too, but now what I do, like, so I'm painting and I'm looking at these all, the paint job really close in as I'm working with my paintbrush. And then what I normally do, you guys, this is just me, my process. Oh my gosh, there's already 260 people here. Hello, everybody. Hello, hello. Yes, you can offload very easily, Shauna, on the tinfoil. I almost always use tinfoil. It's just so easy and cheap, and I always have it on hand. And actually, let me just show you, because this is super fast. I got this at the Dollar Tree 6 months ago or something. It's like a pop-up. It's like a box of tissues. You just pull one out, and I usually can use a half of one at a time, because they're really actually quite long. So I cut that in half. I usually just like go on my table. And I use half at a time, and I'll put the other one back. And then I use this, and then when that is used and dry, then I fold it, and then I use this side, and then I flip it, and then I use this side. So I get lots of uses out of my tinfoil. And I love that little box that it was $1 at the Dollar Tree, and it has lasted me. I've just been using it for a very long time. Somebody's asking which paint that is. Admiral Blue from Apple Barrel. You got it. Is anybody else crafting tonight? Never thought about paper plates soaking up the paint, but it makes sense. Yes, if it's not wax coated paper plate, your paper plate is going to suck up your paint, number one, and it may get soggy, and it may, if you're offloading on a paper plate and offloading, and I'll show you that when I do the stenciling, you're basically rubbing like this over and over again with wet paint on a paper plate. The paper plate may start to like fall apart on you, and you don't want bits of paper in your project. So I just don't use paper plates. Just don't do it. And I'm not a fan of styrofoam for the environment. Don't like it. Yeah, that's a very pretty blue. Jessica says, I love that blue. Oh, Judy says, great idea with the foil. I've been going through so many paper plates, small paper plates. Yeah, I love the foil. I love it. I love it. It's so easy. You're welcome for the idea. Robin says, it's been forever since I've been able to watch a live. Hi, Robin. Hello, hello. Okay, so what I do, I started to say what I do normally. So I've been painting, and I'm looking at my paint job with my paintbrush in hand, and I'm really focusing on one color at a time. When I'm done getting the color on there, I kind of step back and look at it, and is that what I want? And no, it's not. I don't like all this white showing here and here. I'm going to fill in the ends a little more. I'm going to fill in these ends a little more. So when you pull it away from your face and you look at it as a whole, that really helps you to get an idea of, is that the look I'm going for? I want more color, because when I stencil on top of this, I'm going to want full coverage, not partial coverage. I got to make sure I'm centered here. Okay, so a little more blue. I'm going to come in with a little more blue on these edges. I want to darken these edges up. I want a little of the white showing, but not that much. I like scrappy looking. I like scrappy looking, rustic looking projects, scratched up, mucked up, imperfect, wonky. I mean, you guys know my words, right? How many other funky words do I use to describe my projects? All right, there we go. I'm gonna come in here and I'm just gonna fill in some of this white. I don't want so much white to show. Because I haven't decided. I think I'm gonna put Land That I Love in here. And I haven't even decided color yet, but Land That I Love, I think that's what I'm gonna put in here. And I need enough of a background color, enough of a contrast so that when I stencil over it with whatever color I choose, that it really shows up. So I'm gonna come in and add. And the little bit of dry time that this has had also gives me a really good idea. The paint color changes a little when it dries. So it's a good idea to just take your time with it, let it dry, and go back in and add more. If you're going for a scrappy, scratchy, rustic look, you can either go in, like I said, later you can go in with a sanding block, or I tend to like dry brush when I'm looking for a rustic look. I tend to dry brush. And then if I can know that I still can sand if I want to sand some more. I'm going to come in and fill in where I wiped some of that off with the baby wipe. I'm going to fill that in. Again, I'm going to come over this. Well, let's see. No, I think the stars are going to go here. I'm going to put words down here, and then I'm going to leave that top row for the scrappy bow, and I'm going to do it in red, white, and blue. I'm excited about it because I love making a good old scrappy fabric bow. There we go. Okay, I'm going to put these paint brushes in my bucket for now and cover up my paint. I have more coverage. I really like it. So it was already white, so I have not painted anything here. Now I just have to decide what to put where. And here's my thought. From this set, I was debating between America the Beautiful and Land That I Love. But here's what I think I'm gonna do. Oh, I better dry this before I start placing things down because it's still wet. Hang tight. We'll take a little break and I'll check comments. You can dry brush white. Wait, I just made a sign with the sayings Land of the Free because of the brave. Teresa, I love it. I'm a huge fan of Americana art. I love it. I love Americana decor. Yes. Belinda says you can always dry brush white on top. You absolutely can, to give it that rustic look. Or she says a little buttermilk. I suppose that's a color. Oh, Jessica, I'll show you here in a second. Super easy bow. I'm not a good bow maker, but I like the way to make this little messy bow is so easy. Love, love, love my stencils, Debbie says. Yay! Diana was out weeding her garden. Good for you, girl. My kids, oh, I started to say to you, do you hear that stomping around in the background? My husband just got home from work and my kids are begging to go out. We just got them a jet ski. And I told, the other day on one of my lives, I said they were 12 and 13. They're not, they're 13 and 14. I think I'm trying to keep them younger than they are. How dare I? Especially my 14-year-old who is working on getting his license this summer. So he is getting more and more independent. See, this is gonna fit on here perfectly. Land That I Love fits perfectly on the blue. And then I was gonna do the stars here, like so that like this is like a mini little sign, and then the bow up here above the banner. That was my idea. The other option is to put America the Beautiful down here. It just doesn't fit as well. It doesn't, I mean, I would have to like cross over two colors and I don't want to do that. So that makes my decision for me. Land That I Love is coming down here. And then I'm going to do the banner of stars on the white with blue and red. And then up here, I'm going to put a really fun, scrappy looking bow. All right, that's the plan. Let's get stenciling. This is going to be pretty fun and pretty easy because I'm just, both of the stencils that I'm using are coming from the same stencil. I don't tape, you guys. I don't do it. I don't normally tape. I just go in for it. I just go with it. I'm positioning it absolutely directly in the middle. I am going to do this in white because I like really strong contrast. So I want, on a dark blue, I want the white to show up really well. So I'm going to be using my stencil brushes. It's gonna be a little hard to see on tin foil, but I got my I call this the land of offload, my tin foil. I call it the land of offload. So here I've got still a little blue left. I'll use that in a minute, but here's my white. I'm going to use, I'm going to use my smallest of the Essential Stencil brushes. I use a brush cleaner that's also a conditioner. And what it does is it gets the bristles all back into place nicely. It's this, and it's in my Amazon store, if you guys, this small one lasted me about 2 years. But when I bought another one recently, I bought a huge, it was huge, it's like a Cool Whip container. And it's like a bar of soap. And you wet your brush and then you get it in there and you work out all the paint. But I clean it and then I also condition my brush afterwards, but it leaves it a little bit stiff. So I always like get the bristles all softened up before I go into my paint. That's what I was doing, just as an explanation for what you saw going on there. Okay, I really want you to see my line to offload because I know for a lot of people who are, especially those just starting out with stenciling, this can be a frustration, is getting bleed through, having bleed through on your project. So here's what I do. Here's my brush, completely clean and dry. I dip it in the paint, and you can see there all that paint that's there. It is way, way too much paint. It's entirely too much paint. I need to get it off the brush, most of it. We want to use a dry brush. So I come in over here on my tin foil. I call this the land to offload, and I'm going to offload in a dry place where there's no paint. I'm going to offload most of it, still entirely too much paint, and then I'm going to come over here and I'm going to, in little round circles, what I'm doing is I'm trying to make sure that that paint gets up into the bristles. You can see it's about a third of an inch up into the bristles. But do you see how dry that is? There's no wet gobs of paint. There's no glistening paint. It's a dry brush. That's what we want. We want to dry brush the paint onto the stencil. I generally, some people like to stipple or pounce, which is the up and down. You can do that. Go for it. You like it? Go for it. If that works for you, if it feels comfortable for you. What's nice about that is you're not taking your brush and going against the ridge that creates the design. Once you take your brush and you go against that ridge, it almost acts like a spatula, and it gathers up all the paint, and then you have a bit of paint that might get underneath and cause that bleed through. So by stippling up and down, you avoid that. Some people like to do little round circles. You can do that. Some people do like to go back and forth. You can do that, whatever you're comfortable with. I think when I'm not thinking about it, I tend to do a little bit of all of them. I look at the stencil, I look at the board underneath, and I look for my coverage to see how good the coverage is. So sometimes I do little round circles, sometimes I stipple. You'll get a feel for it. I have been saying a lot lately because my son is learning to drive that it's kind of like driving a car. You don't know when you start how hard you should push the brake to stop, especially, even for us, when I rent a car, sometimes the brake is more sensitive in the rental than it is in my own car. So that's, even for somebody who's been driving for a long time in a new car, you kind of have to get a feel for it, right? You have to get a feel for stenciling. You really do. And the only way to do that is just to keep doing it. Keep doing it, keep doing it. Let me just say this too, because I really want to motivate you to just not give up. I know it can be frustrating if you're getting bleed through, but practice. Practice on a cereal box, like the inside of a cereal box. I use them all the time for crafting. Practice on an Amazon box, like a box that was mailed to you. Instead of just throwing it out, use that to practice your stenciling. The clean part of a pizza box, the top of the pizza box, you can tear off, throw out the bottom that has the crumbs in it. You can do it on regular paper. You can do it in one of those, I like the media books that you can get in the arts at the craft stores. I like those. An envelope that you have that you're gonna end up recycling anyway. practice it. Before you go in on the beautiful board that you bought and invested in, practice it on anything that you can get your little hands on, okay? It's worth the bit of paint that you invest in practicing it, and you will get a feel for it. Okay, my paint has dried on my brush, so I have to go back into my land of offload here and pick up some more brush paint and then work it into the bristles. Uh-oh, my stencil moved. I'm not gonna let it worry me because I just don't. I will not. I refuse to let stuff like that bother me because I just want to enjoy the process. All right, right now while I'm here, I'm going over what I already did with a little more just to make it more contrast. I want the white to be a little darker so it shows up really well on that dark blue. Now I'm pushing. Look at you. Can you see how hard I'm pushing down on that? Oh, you can't even see. Good gravy, people. All right, here we go. See how hard I'm pushing? I'm pushing pretty good, you guys. Because I want, remember, I got that paint all the way up into the bristles on that brush. And now what I want to do is I want to push that paint onto my board. It's pretty dry. Remember, there's nothing glistening off of here. There's nothing dripping. If I shake it, nothing's coming out of it. That's how dry you want it. So when I come down here, I'm pushing pretty hard. I'm pushing pretty hard. Can you see? Now I'm running out of paint. I need more paint. I've run out. It's better to use less. It's better to use less and come back for more paint and do a second coat than to have too much and get bleed through, because then we want to cry. Don't cry. Please don't cry. Please don't cry. It does take a little time to get used to it, but once you get the hang of it. The other thing is your applicator. For a very, 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 very long time, I have used makeup wedges. This is a little makeup wedge. I've used the makeup wedges, and you can use those to pounce on your paint. I did that for a very long time. You know, when you go to the craft store, you can buy those foam, I think they call them foam pouncers, and some people like those. I'm not a fan of those, but that doesn't mean it's not right for you. I encourage you to try, you know, different things until you find the one that's right for you. My favorite are the Essential Stencil brushes right now. When I started doing lives for Essential Stencil on a more regular, like on a weekly basis, for a while I was doing it every other week or once a month. Now I do it once a week. When I started doing it weekly, I was still using the makeup wedges. And then I was like, all right, you guys, let's talk about these brushes. And I started using the brushes, and the more I use them, the more I like them. So it's okay to change your mind too. So, but try them all. Okay, here's what I do. This is what I call the hinge effect. I hold it down firmly with one hand, and then I peel it back to see if it's the coverage that I want. And I would like my L. I want my paint on my L to be a little stronger color. I want it to be more present. So I'm going to go back over my L. I went back over my D earlier when I was talking to you because it had already dried in the time that I was explaining things. So now let me just show you this second coat, what it does, because there's going to be a big difference. You can even see it on the stencil, how much more paint is right here. So when I peel this back, do you see how much more vibrant the L is now? I want the words "the land" that I love. I want those words to be a little deeper as well. I am a huge fan of a strong contrast. I think it's just easy for the eye to see. I think it makes it look really vibrant. So I'm coming back in now that everything's dry, and I'm pushing a little more paint through the stencil. It doesn't have to be, you know, your second coat usually just doesn't need to be as much work. You already have a nice foundation there, and the second coat is really just fortifying it. Whoops. Whoa, I did not offload. Whew, I don't know what's going to happen right there on the V because I forgot to offload. Nothing. It worked out just fine. Phew! All right, let me show you what I got so far. So see, I went in with the second coat because I wanted that to be as bright white as this is. I wanted the white to show up that well. Okay, I can come back over the whole thing, and if I want it to look real, like more gritty and more rustic, I can come back over the whole thing with my sander, and I probably will do that. But here we go. So that's that part. Let's get into, here's where I'm going to put, it's funny, these stars, let me just clean that off there. These stars, almost, they're not quite 12 inches across. They're 10 inches across, but that's going to give me a little bit of an inch here and there, and I'm totally fine with that. I don't need it to go all the way across for it to be stinking cute, because it's going to be cute. So I do need to figure out, so you have the line here, which would be like, say you made a banner, that would be like your jute rope or whatever, right? That's holding your banner in place. So that color, I don't know. I was going to just do blue and red stars. So I have my blue paint here. Let me get a little more red because I put my red away. I'm going to come in. I'm going to need a couple of different brushes. Instead of cleaning it in between each one, I just have these other, I have just a few. If you're doing something really small, a really small stencil, like something really small, like say you wanted to just do this line and you didn't want to do the stars, I would use painter's tape to cover the stars so that I could get that. And I might, should I do that? What should I do that? Should I do it gray? You know what would be really cute, you guys? I'm going to use jute. I'm going to use jute to tie my messy ribbon. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue a piece of this down. Could I do it? Do you think I could do it? I'm going to glue this down, and it's going to tie in with my ribbon. Not now. I'm going to get all my stars done, and then I'm going to glue, I think I'm going to glue this down, a piece of jute, so it ties in with the ribbon, because I'm going to use the jute on the ribbon. And for my hanger, that's what I'm going to use to hang it with. Anyway, when you have really little things that you want to stencil, you need littler brushes. And you can use a round paintbrush for acrylic painting. That's just a round paintbrush. So I also am a huge fan of using like really little paintbrushes. See how little that is? Because you have more control. And it's really easy to offload, actually. I'm not going to do the line. I'm just going to do the stars in red and blue. And then I am going to try to glue a piece of rope to pretend that that's going to be my rope. Okay, so I have 2 really big stars, 2 medium-sized stars, and 3, no, I have 2 big stars, 1 that's slightly smaller, and then 2 even smaller, and 2 small, tiny little ones. So I'm just trying to think of what color I want them to be. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's 7 of them. I'm going to make 1 of the big ones blue and 1 of the big ones red. So let's start with that. Now, in the middle here, there's no stencil to mess with. There's no mess, but I want to use the same motion that I'm using everywhere else, because I don't want to go up and down all the way around here, because it gives a different look than if I were to brush this on like this. I have brush strokes when I do this. If I go up and down, you want to do it on the whole star, everywhere, even though there's no stencil in the middle there for me to mess with or have to worry about. I still want to go up and down because I want the texture of the paint, the way it lays on my project, to look the same everywhere. So up and down, even though there's no stencil there to worry about. Okay, so this one's going to be red. That one's blue. I can do this one blue then. I need more paint. I'll go to my land to offload, and you can see there. Same thing, tiny little brush, same process. Work it in. Find a clean place, and look, I'm still getting a ton of paint. Look at, I'm still making blue dots. I have offloaded it 3 times. Look at all the paint I'm still getting off of it. 4 times. I've offloaded it 4 times, and that brush is still holding on to that much paint. So offload, offload, offload. That's why we say it. If you're getting bleed through, make sure that you are offloading as much as you need to be. Okay, I need more paint. I'm going to come into my, and I just picked up, like you can't even see how much I picked up. That's how little it is. Still going to offload. And then I'm going to come in here. I can always add more later. Bleed through is a little harder to clean up. It's going to work out that these are just going to be, I don't want them to be perfectly like red, blue, red, blue, red, blue. I'm going to do this one here, even though this is blue, I'm going to do this one blue. And then I'm going to go in with my red. So actually I will, this brush is working out really well for me. So I'm just going to clean out some of that blue and go into my red. Dirty water, it doesn't matter, it's still clean my brush out. It'll still get all that paint out. I squeeze off the excess water on the side. And then I have a rag and I go in with my rag. And I get as much of that water off as I can. And look at my bristles. Oh, this is why I like the essential stencil brushes. That doesn't really happen to them as often, where you lose paint bristles like that. Okay, I don't need a ton of paint here. I really don't. I'm gonna pick up way too much. I'm gonna come to the land of offload. I need a red section. There's my white, there's my blue, here's my red. I'm offloading most of it, and then still work it into the bristles, work it into the bristles, work it into the bristles. Now it's really getting dry. You can always add more, but you want it really dry when you go into your project. You do not want you don't want to see glistening paint. You don't want shiny paint. You don't want to see gobs of paint. You want it to be even throughout your whole brush. And you'll have better success you'll get better at avoiding that bleed through. See, I'm going up and down. Up and down. This brush is very pliable. The bristles are very pliable. I'm so sorry, with the camera angle the way it is, that I have to keep moving the camera back and forth. But I want you to see, especially for you beginners, or even those of you who have been doing it for a little while, and I do hear sometimes folks get frustrated. Belinda says, I'm super excited to see what this is going to look like. I'm like a kid in a candy store. Anticipation just gets me excited. I'm the same way. I'm the same way when I watch people craft and create. I love, 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 love to spend my free time. Not that I have a ton of it, but I do love to spend my free time doing that. Watching other people and being inspired by them. So I'm so happy to do that for you guys. So Belinda, I hope you like the way it turns out. And you know, the interesting thing is, and the same thing happens to me. I'll watch somebody do a project and I'll say, oh my gosh, I have a board that's kind of like that. I could work with the board that I have. But I don't think I'd pick that color. I'd pick a different color. But I love what she's doing, but I would just pick a different color. Or I just wouldn't put glitter. She's using glitter. I wouldn't use glitter, right? So you take what you learn as a way to inspire, and then you go and run with it. And that's what I love about, I have two groups from the Comfy Nest page. I have the Crafty Chicks group, which is a free group where I encourage everybody to share their projects in there because it inspires, it helps to inspire us. So I have the Comfy Nest Crafty Chicks group, the free one, and then I have my paid monthly group where we do projects together and I teach new techniques, and that's called the Craft Therapy Club. So two different options. You can head over there. I hope you'll like and follow the page and join us in our little community there. It's fun to be part of a couple of different communities. Okay, they look like floating stars right now. They show up really well on the white, but they look kind of goofy because they're just kind of floating out there. So what we have left to do is I'm going to put this jute rope down. That's what I'm going to do. I don't know how I'm going to do this, but I think what I'm going to do, I'm not going to put a bead of glue for the whole darn thing. I think what I'll do is glue down. Let me put you a little closer. I'm going to glue, put a dot of glue here and glue down one here, and then at each star, the top of each star, I'll put a little bead of glue and make sure that it attaches to that. And I think I'm going to make it a little longer than it needs to be so that I have a little piece like dangling down. Like it would be, right? So let me show you. This is my example for you. Hold on, let me show you. Hold on, wait a minute. Okay, so see my little bee banner that I have hanging here? Over here I have this really long piece of, it's hard for you to see, this really long piece of jute rope that is attached to my little bee banner. I love those little frilly ends hanging off, so I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna try to accomplish that by leaving, I don't know, like a 4-inch strip that's just gonna hang down here. But I'm going to put just one little bead of glue. I'm gonna use probably my X-Acto knife to push the glue down. I have my glue gun going. Let's see if it's working. Yep. Wait, are you letting glue out? Come on, where are you, baby doll? It's not. What? Shut the front door. It's not even, what? Okay, I'll tell you what. This is going to be a little product review. An honest product review. I was going to get all fancy. Wait, you guys just laugh at me. Go ahead. You can laugh at me. I was going to get all fancy because I have had this glue gun for like 10 years. I don't know where I got it. Look at, it's been to scrapbooking retreats with me. So I have my initial on there. It's been to my workshops with me that I've taught. It's like messed up and icky, but it's corded. Works great. It works great. But I wanted a detailed brush or a detailed glue gun, because this one has a bigger nozzle on the end. So I wanted a detail one. Like this little piece, this little project that I'm doing now, I need kind of a tighter bead of glue. So I got this one from Amazon, and it is cordless. Like, charge it up, turn it on, and you should be able to use it. It doesn't stay charged very long. The cord isn't very long. And most often, I actually need the big gun. I don't use the detail one. I don't need it as often as I felt like I needed it now that I have it. But I don't love this one. It's a yellow. I actually think I put this in my Amazon store. I'm going to take it out. I think I'm going to try a Sure Bonder one, because there are a lot of ladies who have the Sure Bonder one and they love it. This one, in theory, like, it's supposed to charge up and then you unplug it and then you can use it. It has the little, what do you call it? Like lean-to thing there. I'm not loving it. It's never ready when I'm ready. It needs to be ready. Get to work. I tell my kids all the time. One of my kids are doing the dishes and they're like, oh, why are we doing this? Why are we do? I said, listen, just like I always tell you people, just as long as everybody does exactly what I say around here, we're all going to get along just fine. He just shakes his head at me. I said, I'm not kidding. I am the boss of you. Like, I'm not the boss of you. You people out there watching me. I always tell you that because you're your boss in your craft room. But those people in the kitchen doing the dishes, I am the boss of them, and they better listen or things are not going to go good. But I am the boss of my glue guns, and they're not behaving right now. All right, let's do this. I got to let this stinking thing warm up. I don't know what happened. Why are you not working, my love? I plugged in my other one. So while I'm waiting for that, I will do this in front of you so you can see how I'm going to do it. We're not stenciling anything else. So I actually can put away the paint, and then let's do the messy bow. I'll get the messy bow done, and then in that time that I'm doing that and showing you how to do it, it's so easy and fun. In the time that I'm doing that, that thing will warm up and be ready to go. For goodness sake. Like I said, as long as you do exactly what I tell you to do, Mr. Glue Gun, we're going to get along just fine. I'm going to replace you. That's what's going to happen. You're going to be a gonzer. Okay. Fabric. I love doing fabric. Let me put this aside while we wait for the glue gun. I love doing scrappy fabric messy bows. And for the craft-a-thon, summer craft-a-thon the other day that I did the flag that's behind me right there. I did that scrappy flag using some of this fabric, and so I'm going to use more of it. I love it. I love doing it. So I still have some strips of fabric already ripped up and ready to go. So I'm pulling that out because I will use some of its denim. I've got some denim. Blue denim is great for Americana. This is actually a flannel. This is just like a canvas. I don't even know what that is, but it's like it's like a natural color. It's not even white, but it'll still be fine in there, I think. Just one little strip's not going to hurt anything. I have a white, and then this was an extra blue. So I have more red, white, and blue, and I love the gingham. I think we need some of this in here. So let me show you the way that I prep my pieces of fabric for the way I get my strips for my messy bow, because I love the messy. Okay, let me grab the white because it shows up pretty good here. I love how the edges are all curled up, and I love the fray. I love that pieces of like fabric are like scraping. I love it. I love the frayed look on fabric. So I don't cut them, I tear them. So let me show you on the gingham one. So I have this little block here that's just like a little extra block. So here, I'm going to use this. You just need your scissors. And then at that point where you want, like I want a strip to be here, I just put a little cut, and then you just tear. And what happens is you get like, your edges curl up and they get frayed. And it's pretty straight because it's you know, it's tearing. It's woven, right? So it's tearing on that one strip, on that one weave. So it's pretty darn straight, except I get all of that like scrappy goodness with it. This one, I actually like how thick that is. Let me see if I can repeat that. I'm gonna leave that just the way it is. Okay, let me make another one of those because I like how thick that is. Just so I have another one just like it. So I'm gonna put a little snip with my scissor, and then you just tear the whole length of your fabric, and then you get this awesome scrappy curled up goodness that I love. This makes it really messy and fun. So I'm gonna have two of them about the same size, right? So I usually put my widest fabrics on the bottom. I did pull some ribbon. I mean, I do have some ribbon here, but I really truly prefer just to use fabrics because it gets all floppy and pretty. So we're just going to crisscross these, you guys, like a wide X, not a plus sign. It actually is easier. I've done it both ways, but I think it's easier if you just do kind of like a wide X, right? And I just start offsetting. So I did two of the red ones. Here's a really skinny denim. I only have one of these, so let me throw that in there. I don't know. We're just going to start. I only have one of those, so I'm just going to offset that with another blue, right? Actually, this one can go toward the top because it's a little shorter. Let's put the longer ones toward the back because, you know, the shorter ones you want toward the front so that you're sure to see all the different colors that you have and all the different, like here's a polka dot. I don't want the selvage, so I rip that off. So here we go. Every other one we're going the opposite direction, right? So I'm just gonna cut these to size. At the very least, they should be about the same size as the one underneath it, if not a little shorter. And you're just gonna keep doing this. Like, you're just gonna keep adding. Oh, I gotta go this direction. This one's really scrappy. I don't know what this is from, but look at it, it's not even cut straight. It doesn't matter. That's the whole beauty of it. It's a messy bow. It's supposed to be messy and fun. I like that I got gingham, I got polka dots, this has, I don't know what you call that. I don't know what that is. It's like little hash tags on it. I can put another blue one. Let's put this one. But I don't want it longer than the one right before it. I want it slightly shorter. And I don't care if this one is wider or skinnier than the other one. It doesn't matter. I'm just trying to offset colors. I need more white. Let's get this white one in here. This one's really scrappy and skinny. So let's get that one in there. You could, absolutely, you could put ribbons in here too. I just really, really love the look of the fabrics. Okay, I'm loving the gingham. I don't want a really wide piece to cover everything, right? So I'm gonna take this gingham, this was like 2 inches wide. I'm gonna make it 1 inch wide, and I'm gonna cut it just a tish shorter so that I can have another layer. And you can see, look at all this scrappy goodness. I love it. I'm gonna make that one a little shorter. I'm gonna tie this together with jute. Actually, Melanie Ferguson uses a zip tie, which I think is really smart. I don't have zip ties handy. I'm gonna use a little more of this denim. This is unevenly cut too, but I just wanna make sure that it's, every other one I'm crisscrossing, but I wanna make sure that it's at least as long, or if not a little shorter than the one underneath it, because you want them all to show. And you just keep doing this. You just do it as much. This one's too wide. I don't know. This is actually a ribbon, and it's a burlap ribbon. I don't know if I can tear it. It's not gonna let me tear it. It's just gonna fall apart if I try to tear it. but I can cut it in half. If you have a little piece of ribbon that's too wide, but you want the color or you want the pattern or whatever, don't be afraid to cut it in half. I need to put something else in between there first, like a white. Let's put some white. This is how easy this is, you guys. This is it. This is what you do. And then I'm going to show you how to tie it together. Let's end with this blue. I'm just doing red, white, and blue. You could do whatever colors you want. The red, white, and blue goes with my project right now. Now what I do, I take a little cut of a piece of jute, and this is my top. So I lay this here. I cinch it together in the middle with my thumb and my middle finger. I'm pushing on my jute, which is what I'm going to use to tie it together. I'm going to flip it over, and then I'm just going to tie it in like a knot here. I'm going to squeeze this together really tight as I can, and tie that in a knot. Now that will be hidden in the back. If for some reason it's a thicker jute or it's not hidden, you can cut that down all the way. I like the jute in my projects usually, because I'm usually going rustic scrappy. Okay, so look, so now I have this that I can hold on to and shake it all out. You want it to be all messy and fluffy, and you want them going every which direction, like really unruly, kind of like my hair in the morning, if you want to be honest. Okay, I haven't been to the salon yet since this whole COVID thing, so we got some unruliness going. So here's the fun part, because then you can start playing with all these little tendrils and making them go all wild. I usually just like shake it around, and that also makes all of these like little bitty threads to start popping out too, which makes it look really messed up too. Let me check comments real quick, see if there are any questions. I should have done that, I'm sorry. Tina says, I love my Sure Bonder heat gun or a glue gun. I'm so glad. Oh, Robin says it's awesome. You guys, I've got to go. I had it in my cart on Amazon. I need to just go get it. Yeah, it just doesn't stay charged very long. I wonder if the Sure Bonder has also has one that is cordless, battery operated. I don't know what you call it. All right, let's grab my thing here. So this is going to go here. This is going to go up here, and I want it to be, I think I want it to be centered. Now, if for some reason your parts of your bow get uneven, like, can I find one where like maybe over here it's a lot longer than it is on the other side, you can pull on these and move them like they move. So if you need to even it out a little, like see how the white one, I could pull it out completely if I wanted to, but if I needed to even it out, you can usually pull on them. And what I like to do is just make sure I have white, red, and blue in every direction. Make sure that I have gingham both on the top and on the bottom. Make sure that this blue is showing. So you start just like pulling on it in different directions to make sure that it's all like gonna flop around and be shown. That to me is the really fun part. I'm gonna hot glue this onto my board right here. That is gonna be so stinking cute right there. And I still need to do my jute. So let's see if this thing is hot enough yet. I'm gonna check on my tin foil here. It is not, it's just not doing it, you guys. Good thing I got my old standby. It's heating up, but it's not heating up hot enough. Yeah, this one's working. My good old Bessie here, she's not gonna let me down. She's ready to go. My old tried and true. I'm gonna do the bow in a minute. I'm not gonna glue it on just yet. I wanna focus on getting this done. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put a little bead of glue at the top of every star, and I'm gonna use this to push my jute into it. I want a long tendril to hang down because I want it to look messy looking and just kind of cool. So I want it to be, yeah, like it's going to come down to the middle of the blue probably. I don't know how many inches that is, 5 inches maybe. So figure out my positioning. Let me put a tiny bead of glue right here. And then I'm going to hold my rope into it and push it down with my X-Acto. You can use, gosh, you could use a pencil eraser. You could use, you know, so many different things. The end of a paintbrush. I just happen to like, I don't know, my X-Acto, very precise. And it's convenient because it's right there. So I'm just going to do the same thing for all of these. I'm going to push it down until the glue cools, and it's going to look like it's my rope for my little banner. Excuse me. And my tip to you when using glue, if you get an extra bead of glue that you didn't, like it's showing and you don't want it to show, let it cool like halfway so that you can like even stand to put your finger on it. But if you use your X-Acto knife and peel off that little tiny bead of glue that's there, I actually will cut it. I cut it off. It's not hot, but it's cool enough for me to cut through and pull off, but it's not so cold or like so set that I can't cut it. I can actually cut it with my X-Acto knife to get that if I have an extra, like more bead of glue showing than I want to. So I push this down and see, I don't know, you guys probably can't see this. I'm gonna try to get you in close. I have a little extra right here on the edge and I don't want that there. So I need to let it cool enough. It's kind of like Jell-O. It needs to be solid enough. I need to be cool enough so that I can cut through it. And then I can just pick it up and get rid of that whole glob of excess that I didn't want there. See, it comes right up. There it is. That's being wicked fussy. You don't have to be so fussy. You don't have to be. Remember I said, perfection like can totally take the joy out of it. So don't do that to yourself. It doesn't have to be perfect, but if it bugs you, because I know there are people out there who are like, what? It's just see too much glue. You just cut right through that bad boy with your X-Acto knife while it's still pliable, but not so hot you're going to burn your fingers. And then you just peel it up with your X-Acto. Another good reason to use your X-Acto knife. This is stinking cute. I really like this. And it was easier than trying to paint that with the little stencil brush. I'm going to go to the end here with my red star. And then I'm going to cut this end to make sure it matches. Whoa, I picked it up too soon. Still not cool. I'm excited. I want to see it all come together. All right, there we go. I got the excess off. Now I want it to be about the same length as this one over here. So I'm just going to cut off like a... It's always better to go longer than you need and cut off excess, right? So let's do that. And it's like 1.5 inches too long, 2 inches too long. So there we go. Actually, it's going in a funny direction, but I think once it's like propped up or hanging up, they'll both come down due to gravity. So let's get this in place. So I'm going to put a big old thing of glue here, and we're going to position this right here. So I only painted on... I painted 2 panels, left this one white, and then I stenciled on the bottom 2 so that I could make the bow be like one of the highlight parts of the design on this project. I'm going to leave, actually, I'm going to put more jute on here, you guys, to tie this together a little better. I'm going to add... And I'm going to leave this jute on here so it's sticking out. And then I'm going to add a little bit more to the center of this so that it ties in with, no pun intended, it ties in with the other piece of jute rope that I have down below. So I want this to be more prominent. Actually, I'm going to do 2. I'm going to do that one. And all I did was I took a long piece, it's about 10 or 12 inches long. I'm putting it underneath my bow so that this tie shows on the top. I want this to show because I have my jute now supposedly holding together my stars. So I want this to be like extra tendrils of jute just kind of hanging out here so that it really ties it all together nicely. Again, no pun intended. All right, lots of glue right here. This is where I found that the detailed glue gun doesn't work as well. When I want a lot of glue, I can't, the detail one, it's really, you have to pump a lot to get the amount of glue that you want. I'm pushing really hard in the center here to make sure that that messy bow sticks. Now, I only put the glue like a 1/2 inch beyond the jute on either side because I want all this stuff to have movement. I don't want it, sometimes as a trick, if one is really being unruly and it's not staying in place, one of the ones on the bottom, like if this kept falling down and I wanted it to stay there, I'll put a bead of glue there and just glue that down so it stays in place. But let's pick it up and let gravity do its job and see how this is holding together. See, that bow is so easy, you guys. Messy bow with fabric. Get yourself some fat quarters, or just like when you go to the hobby store, Hobby Lobby, Joann's Fabric, Walmart, wherever you're getting your fabrics, even the thrift stores, go to their little bin of fabrics that they sell, and if you see some cute patterns, you don't need a ton of it. Just get yourself some strips of fabric, because look at how much movement it has. See how it's like, it reminds me of like Raggedy Ann and Andy. It's just like floppy goodness, and it's got all this like these little strips coming off of it, and I love that. Okay, so here's where I'm telling you. See how this side, it's like really, it reminds me of like a dog's floppy ear. Like it's flopping forward. If that's giving me trouble, here's what I do. I put like a tiny bead of glue, like where I want it to stay, and I will just like push that fabric there to just cheat it and say, okay, I don't want it to be completely stiff, so I'm not gluing the whole thing down, but I put a little bead of glue up here so that it would kind of stay in place, right? So that it stays up high. I'm not having any trouble on this side, that's staying. But look at how cute! So now again, you could cheat if you have two options. If this is hanging too low for your taste and it's covering up your stars, you could glue that up. You could glue these up if you wanted to, or you could cut them to make them shorter. I like that it's like super floppy. But, and then look at, here's my little tendrils. Here's my little tendrils from my rope. Oh my gosh, this is stinking cute, you guys. And to me, even though, of course, with 4th of July coming, look at Flag Day, Memorial Day, 4th of July, what other ones? There's like all these great American holidays in these few months around 4th of July. So this can stay up for sure through all of those, but I kind of feel like Americana stuff, we should keep it up year round. Just a little bit of it, right? Just a little. If it says 4th of July, no, but just a little bit of Americana. So show me some hearts if you like it. Let's pick some names for some winners, because I know you like that too. Let's pick some winners. Labor Day. Yes, thank you. Who said that? Who's so smart and reminded me? Labor Day. I know I couldn't think of all of them. Debbie says beautiful. Oh, Karen, look at all those. She's got like the little emojis with the stars and all the flag emojis. Super fun. That's really cute. Denise, I know you can get these at almost all craft stores, right? These 3-paneled palette boards. It doesn't even have to be a 3-paneled one. You could do this with any square. This is a 12 by 12. But you could make it work for probably anything. But you got to get into the Stencil of the Month Club to grab these stencils so that you can play with them. So if you're going to join the Stencil of the Month Club, use my link so that you get $5 off your first month. Or if you're going to order any other stencils or the brushes or anything else that you might want, there's some new designs coming out, lots of them actually, that they're going to be taking pre-orders. I don't remember the dates, but you guys use my link and head over there and you'll get 10% off your order. All right, let's pull some names. Let's do it. I need a pen, or a pencil works. All right. I go through and randomly choose through the comments. I randomly choose folks to win sets of stencils. So I always tell you guys, don't forget to comment. Say something. Say hello. Tell me where you're coming in from. Rhonda says, I love the rope idea. I'm going to try to go back to the beginning so that we're fair. And those who were here first also get a chance to win. But I'm going to scroll randomly through and I'm going to try to pick. Hello from Maryland, Miss Chiquetta. Yours is the first one that I saw. Chiquetta. Oh my gosh, what a pretty name. Chiquetta. Uh-oh, don't disappear on me, girlfriend. Chiquetta Franks. Gotcha. So she's our first winner. Miss Chiquetta, well, congratulations. I'll give you instructions in a second here on how to claim them, okay? Because you have to email. I'm going to send your names over, the winners, but you also have to email. So make sure that you guys are emailing. Amazing stencil for this time in our lives. Oh, very true, Miss Belinda Taylor. Belinda Taylor is our next winner. And I'm going to try to go further into the comments. I'm just like randomly scrolling. Because there's so many comments, you guys. I love that you guys are so chit-chatty and you talk to us so much. Judy, I'm not sure if I'm going to say the last name correctly. I'm going to spell it for you. U-H-L. Is it Judy Yule? She says, I love the distressed look. Here are our winners. Chiquetta Franks, Belinda Taylor, and Judy, excuse me. Uh-oh, that didn't look good. It was too bright. Judy Yule. Congratulations. I hope I'm not saying your name incorrectly, but either way, you still win the stencils. The three of you, if you could just email the company at support@essentialstencil.com. There's no S at the end of stencil. It's support@essentialstencil.com. Email them your name, your email address, and your mailing address, and they will send you a set of stencils. I'll be sending them your names tonight. I hope you guys like the project. These are all from the Stencil of the Month Club, so if you're inclined at all to try it out, go for it. You know how to make a messy bow, and this is so fun to play with because you can do them for anything. You can make little ones to make barrettes, or little pins for your lapel or your coat, or you can add it to your purse, like a little, put a little bow and then put on a huge safety pin and just add it to the handle of your purse. Makes it super cute and fun. So many things you can do with these bows. Have fun with them. I hope you guys enjoy making them. Try the fabric. It's so much more fun and so much easier than using ribbons. Congratulations to the winners, you guys. Thanks for joining me. I would be honored. I would be so honored and cheesed if you would head over to the Comfy Nest with Grace, like and follow my page. Feel free to join my Crafty Chicks Club. That's my free craft community, and the doors to my paid community, the Craft Therapy Club, will open in the fall. But everybody who's in that free group will get first notice of that so that they can join. All right, you guys, have a beautiful, blessed night. Take care.